All right, here we go.
You've got your mind made up, but you don't know what to do. You build your mountains and you wanna climb them too. I never understood what makes you feel this way. When I get close to you, you always push away. So I run away. I run away from you. I run away. I keep running and running and running, and when I reach out to you, I always come back running. You change your mind so fast, you think I would have run. But somewhere inside you lives a girl I'd like to know. When I get next to you, you've got somewhere to go. So I run away. I run away from you. I run away. I keep running and running and running and
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, corn dog lovers of all ages, welcome to In the Box with your hosts, Matt and Adam.
And Geo.
everybody get.
Oh, that's mean, Eric. I mean, hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening,
What a way to start.
MASL family. What's the date? September something? 20th? First show in September.
Why? You
20th,
guys
yeah.
have access to YouTube. What is going on? Why? Fill me in. Why,
So Matt is
why-
here, but Matt's in the car, so you can't see his video. So Eric said in chat, I'm here for Adam announcing all the Milwaukee player signings.
Okay. Well, I think we should ban them because this is more than just Adam.
Yeah,
as
but are
it
you going to
says in
announce the
intro.
Milwaukee Wave player signings?
Yeah, I am. Derek Huffman. There. Done.
That was actually there are 2 signings that have not been announced. And we'll get into that later, though. I don't know if we want to start with
All right, let's start with the M3 and M2 just to get started on the lower tiers of the MASL.
how do you spell tears in that context?
Oh yeah, never mind.
That is TEARS.
That's what I thought.
Tears
let's
for
let's
fears.
let's not call it tiers. Let's call it
Pyramid scheme. The lower levels of the pyramid scheme.
Yeah,
the
sure,
MASL
sure.
layers. Why don't we call it layers? Like
You
layers
have
of
to.
cake.
Oh, I like cake. I like cake.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
You know
We'll
what
call
else
it
had layers?
an onion.
Onions.
The Napoleon.
Oh yeah. How do you eat a Napoleon?
Who cares?
You pull the bone apart.
Oh my god! All right,
So-
all right. So
all right.
let's start with the M3.
M3.
So-
Is that M3? No, that's not M3.
No, that's M2.
Is that M3? There's M3.
Yes. So right now the M3 only has 2 divisions. You have the Eastern, which is we'll get into that in a second, and the Midwest, which has a lot of people, a lot of our favorites. So the Grand Rapids Wanderers, Sunflower State. That's a good idea.
There you go. Since Matt's not there.
What was a surprise to me was the Muskegon Risers too. I didn't know that they were coming out with a reserve squad, which is a good use of the M3.
I did not know that either. I know that Muskegon Risers has a partnership, or had, or who knows, with Milwaukee, and their goalkeeper, is his name Michael or Matthew? Michael, and I forget his last name. Played 1 game as backup and got some time, actual playing time in the 4th quarter. He's giant. He's like 7'3" or something like that, with an arm span of like 53 feet, I think. So he wouldn't actually fit.
Oh, right.
He wouldn't fit in the Baltimore field. So it's a good thing it was a home game.
It's okay. But no, it's interesting because the last I knew, and before the brand update for the Grand Rapid Wanderers, I was gonna say Raptors, Wanderers. They had a partnership with Muskegon when they were what were they? The Great Lakes Wanderers. That's what they were.
Oh, sure.
And they had a partnership with them, so it's kind of interesting to see the Risers come up with a new team. So I'm assuming all those partnerships fell through. I don't know. But that brings us to the West. The East. Baltimore Kings is actually affiliated with Baltimore Blast, which is really interesting because the Baltimore Blast wanted to be an M3, but they were like, let's not waste that much time. But the Baltimore Kings have been here for a long time, and they have a good rep. But I'm interested to see Northern VA. We call them Nova over here. They're a solid squad, so I'm excited to see all their talent come here.
Trying to look and see who are Michael Vollmer. Sorry, Michael. I should have known that, and I failed you.
It's okay. It's funny. I have him as a friend on Facebook, so I should have knew that too.
It won't be the first time that I've failed someone miserably on this show, so don't feel special or anything.
So then we head up to the M2. The M2 has been really exciting with the teams. I'm excited with the teams. Well, I mean, we all know Turlock, M2. We have the return of the Soccer 2, Fury 2. But the one I'm excited about, and I don't know why,
RGV.
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
I'm excited for Brew City Swerves. It's the merger with Cincinnati Swerve, which we all know have been in the M2 for some time, and then went away, and then came back, and then went away.
Yeah.
But they've been playing in PASL, so I'm excited for them. And Brewer City's okay. I should say I'm excited for the brand. I don't know too many other players.
I don't know too many. I know of a couple of
Mark
players.
Litton the coach or something?
Yeah.
Our friend Mark Litton was a goalkeeper coach for the Brew City side.
Well, he's the head coach for them now.
Oh, he is. Nice.
Yes,
I did
he
not
is.
know that. He has not followed through with his Facebook posts as much.
Okay.
He's
I'm excited for the M2. There's a
Yeah.
lot of teams.
It looks like a real league.
Yeah.
And that's the cool part about it. Because, I mean, we kind of joke about it, but they've been so in flux in the last, my thing about I'd like to see the MASL just have the same teams 2 years in a row. I'd like the M2 to even have anywhere near close to 1 or 2 teams 2 years in a row. And now they've had a couple of years now of consistency.
Yeah, I mean, there's a group of like 6 or 7 of those teams that have been there for more than a few years. So
There's
I'm
going to be
excited
some
for it.
good games.
Yeah, and I mean the Fury and Soccers, they're actively looking to roster players because they're having tryouts for those.
Yeah.
They're talking about the path to pro and stuff like that. It's really exciting to see it. And I don't know if you noticed this, but Omaha Kings are officially only M2.
Yep.
So
That's
interesting.
cool.
Interesting. And congratulations, Omaha Kings.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I have an idea. I have an idea for consistency in the league.
Okay.
So if you're at a job for like 5 years, you get like a pin or like a piece of paper that says, "Hey, congratulations on 5 years of service." And when I worked at Kinney's, I got like this little pamphlet. It's like, "Hey, pick something out of this list of things for your 5 years of service." And I ended
Yeah.
up getting a golf putter. I think they should do something like that.
I just got one for 3 years at my company, and I got a picnic umbrella and something else.
Hmm.
But that would be cool.
I got
Yeah.
free lunch.
They
I
can-
chose free lunch.
They
Like
can
5 years
put
of service, you get a corn dog, a stuffed corn dog.
And you get to put stars on your jerseys or something.
Yeah.
I like
Oh,
them.
did we say Cleveland won M2 last time? We got to get them back on.
Yeah, we got to
Talk
get them
about
back on. Joey from in the Sunflower Gang want to come back on before their season starts too.
Oh, guys, look. If the Blast had stickers, I would have used the Blast.
Oh, what was that? A donkey?
Oh, that's
I know that's a sticker mule.
Sticker mule.
Trying to avoid the big giant green Texas state in the middle of the.
Okay, fine. You can have this one.
Okay, that'll work. Teams need stickers. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're cheap.
My-
They're easy to
My
do.
laptop's full of them. On my laptop, I actually have New Mexico.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyways, what we're here for.
So what are we here for? So let's
I'm here
talk.
for cake.
What's that?
I'm here for cake.
Oh, you're here for cake? Yeah, me too. I want cake.
But we just did the layers.
But-
Yeah, I know. Now we need to talk about other layers.
Now we need to eat cake on our show
Yep.
No, don't do that.
for an hour.
Yep.
It'll be like a contest. Who can eat the most
That's it.
cake in an
Next
hour?
week,
You got to
Next
put it
week,
right
cake
next to the
eating
mic
contest.
for the what is it called? SMR?
Oh, yeah.
The ASMR. That's what we're here for, the ASMR content.
Yeah. Our friend Philly in LA or Ontario, I guess, did a MSL Insider today with JP. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, and I probably won't till I don't
It was
know.
good. It was pretty good.
So I'm gonna try to listen to that maybe tomorrow night. But check that out. MSL on Facebook, and he's posted on his site and the Ontario groups and all over the place.
If you pay attention to a lot of the things JP says, he almost slips up. But if you put 2 and 2 together on a lot of things, you could figure out a lot of
Four.
spoilers. Huh?
Or
I put 2 and 2 together. That's what I got.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, if you could get 4, you could figure out a lot of spoilers of what he said, which is
or
really
corn
fun.
dogs. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, that corn dogs.
But speaking of that, so we have the new leadership. It is the off season, but has this been the quietest off season ever?
No,
You sure?
no, I'm sure. Actually, I am sure. Last off season was the quietest off season.
Doesn't seem like it was, though, because there was a lot of talk and a lot of movement between the teams and finding players and all that other stuff.
But from the league, though, not team wise.
Yeah, I'm talking. Yeah, talking teams too. It's kind of like from a lot of teams.
Yeah, a lot of teams have been quiet.
That gets me into my next little thing here. I want to address Wave fans specifically because I know there's a lot of you out on the ledge here, and we need to kind of pull everyone back in. There's some news that's come out. Our good friend Rafa Diaz was let go and subsequently signed by St. Louis, and we'll get into that when we talk about the signings. Basically, a lot of Wave fans are saying, well, what's going on? All we're doing is losing players, and there's been no news from the team. I can't address the news from the team thing. Already got into an argument with the owner on that once. I'm not going to do it again. But I will say a couple things that I do know. The first is the Wave home dates are out there. They are booked. They are on Ticketmaster. I don't know why the team hasn't announced them yet. So maybe we'll just make a graphic for them and announce the opening date. But the home games start December 18th and they end like April 2nd, I believe. So those are out there, all 12. If you are not involved in the new ticketing system as a season ticket holder, contact the Wave office, get them all figured out. So right now, if you look at the MASL site, there's only 9 players on the roster. And there's some things like Rafa still listed as assistant coach. Fontana, who moved out of state, is still listed as assistant coach and thing. Most of the players, at least the local guys, were all on 1-year contract. They haven't been re-signed yet, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to be on the team. Excuse me. COVID's flaring up. Just kidding. Probably not something I should joke about. But I went back and I looked at the last 2 seasons the Wave were in. So 2019/2020, most of the players weren't signed until the late November, and that season started in December. And some of them weren't actually officially signed until like the week before the first game. 2018/2019, they were spread out a bit more, but the bulk of the 1-year guys were somewhere between mid-October and the 3rd week in November. The schedule in the past, I remember 2 years ago, it came out on like September 25th, not counting last season because of the COVID thing. So we're still like in the range of the schedule coming out, players getting signed, all that. But we do have some news on the Wave front. We did sign, according to the MASL site, we signed 2 players. Jonathan Pachar came over from St. Louis, and he also was a teammate of Huffman's in Orlando, and a part of the duo who was trying to troll the shit out of me while I was trolling the shit out of them back in the days before they became Wave players. And then Orlando standout Kevin Naranjo. I think it's Naranjo. I think you pronounced the J there. Naranjo. Go look him up on YouTube. Search Kevin Naranjo highlights. There's like a 5-minute video. What?
Is he Spanish?
I don't know.
Because if it's Spanish, it'd be Naranjo.
I know, but I heard the announcers once saying that it was Naranjo and it should not be Naranjo. Overemphasizing the pronunciation, of course. Also, my Spanish accent isn't very good.
Adam, can you ask Nick Vassos how to pronounce that? I'm sure he would.
There we go. So, but no, seriously, check out that video on YouTube. It's like a 5-minute and 40-second long highlights from when he was on Orlando. And unfortunately, a lot of the highlights were against the Wave. Not necessarily crazy goal scoring, but just like he reminded me of, and I don't want to put any pressure on him if he's watching or hears about this, reminded me a lot of Max Ferdinand, how he would just get the ball out of trouble and get it back and regain possession. Happened a lot in a lot of the highlights. So really excited about seeing him on the team. I know there will be a number of the guys who are signing 1-year contracts will be back. I want to say this, and I Rafa, if you watch or if you hear this, 100% utmost respect to you as a person, as a player, as a friend. But I think what happened with Rafa getting released, and this is 90% speculation and 10% some facts. I know that the Wave submitted a batch of visas and decided that Rafa was not going to be on that list of visas. Rafa needs a visa in order to play, so he was released by the team. But that tells me the Wave owners aren't dumb. It tells me they have a plan. And it tells me, they've put together teams from the last 5 or 6 years and gotten better and better and better every year. It tells me they have a plan for goalkeeper. It tells me they have something solidified. We just don't know what it is, because the only way they would release Rafa is if they had a solid plan in place.
But I want to be a devil's advocate right here. Not with Rafa or anything, but more so the lack of communication, right? I think with the new ownership coming in, the Trinity, as their Philly loves to call them, is I think the teams need to be more consistent with their communication, and they need to be. I just feel like it just has to happen more, because like for example, the Heat, right? The Heat is another team that's been silent. They announce a signing, but then they're silent, and there's some rumors about them. We won't get into them, but I just feel like, why should you talk about signings if we haven't even heard if you're definitely in for next season, right?
Well, and the fact that that half their players are getting signed elsewhere.
Exactly.
SK and Barry both went to St. Louis. We'll get into that in a second. I'm looking for a quote. So this is a quote from a person, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say names or anything. Who said, and this was about all the, why are so many teams silent in the offseason? We went through this before on the show. No other league would allow their teams to be this silent. No other team in a professional league would want to be this silent. I don't know. I've been through it. I got reprimanded, got my hand slapped. I'm about all I can say.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, you can use this time to build so much. It's like, I hate teams that, not just in this league, in general, right, where they wait for last minute to start promoting something and expect results. It gets insanity.
I get,
Yeah, especially with last year being unprecedented. I mean, 7 out of the however many teams played. So all of our teams didn't play. So to get those fans back, why are we waiting? Like, why sit on our hands and not do anything?
so take a look at
get your fan base back, hype up the team,
and
announce some signings,
Yeah, and Utica jumped on that today with their video, which was amazing. But as amazing as it was, how much effort and time was really put into that to make that video? A couple hours, including driving time?
Correction, 6 months.
Well, right, yeah, right. But I mean, it's kind of cool. It's like, hey, we're back. That was kind of a cool thing.
It was.
I've had this argument with my guitarist in my band, because we're terrible at social media. And we released an album in April, and I don't think anyone knows about it. I don't know if there's been any views or any. I've had a couple purchases here and there, but nothing I can, brag about or anything. And my guitarist was like, hey, what do we got to do a marketing push for the album? And I'm like, there's no such thing as a marketing push. You need constant engagement. You need every day. You got to post something on social media every week. Oh, well, what do we post? I don't know. Picture yourself playing guitar. Play a riff from one of the songs in the album and post a link to it. Do anything. And I can't get the other 3 guys in the band to get interested in doing anything on social media. And
I think the thing that, like, this kind of goes even into that with your band, right? You need someone that is willing to do that work, because it is work. It's not.
Oh yeah.
It's not. If you want it to be good, it's work. So I think teams need to invest in having someone on their marketing team, someone that does exclusively social media or works with the marketing team to push the social media. So whether it's an intern, whether it's a paid employee, it doesn't matter. Just get someone to do it.
Yeah. And and you can have ticket reps do that stuff in between. And yeah, there's no reason for it. And we've been down this road, but yeah, I'm wondering if it's like an old school thinking.
I think it's just a failed realization that how important social media is. And I'm very optimistic with the ownership because they see it and they're like, okay, we need to do it. Obviously, they're probably focusing on other things right now, but hopefully, with their knowledge of how important social media is, that'll change.
If you want a really good, yeah, if you want a really good example, there's the new NWSL team in Kansas City. Our good friend Jeff Husted is the director of marketing and communications for that team, and they are active every day on social media. I'm not really active on Twitter at all. I only go in there once in a while, but on Facebook, every day I see a post. And it's about different games. It's about signings. They do a lot where players get called up to national teams and things like that. But every single one of those, every birthday, every event is posted.
Which teams have been doing, big up on that. The teams that are doing it, they've been shouting out birthdays, and the MASL has been and sidekicks have been giving shout outs to the futsal team. So there is some positives. It's just we need to get everyone on board. It just has to be more consistent. That's my message, I guess.
But what I'm wondering if it's so in the past, if you have an event starting say December 1st, you don't want to start advertising for it in July because it's too much time. People forget about it between July and December. And it used to be radio, TV, newspaper ads, which were expensive. Magazine here and there or whatever. Those ads are expensive and they cost a lot of money and time to put together. That's why social media is so great, because you can constantly get engaged. The Wave did it a couple times. They were doing posts about summer camps, but in past years, there were at least at the minimum weekly posts on the summer camps all summer long. And hey, there's still time for the camp. Next week's camp is here. Make sure you sign up. And there's nothing. And I don't have a kid in that age groups. Otherwise, we would have gone to a camp this summer. But it's sad to see. I don't know if it's, like I said, if it's the old school thinking where we'll start things back up in the middle of November and get our marketing push in, and it just I don't know.
Just imagine the content that was there for those teams that had camps. And Tosner was talking about it. Keith was talking about the focus on youth, right? Mm-hmm. What better opportunity to display what you're doing in the youth than when you're running camps?
Well, the Blast just posted something. In the community. Blast just posted something today or yesterday or whenever it was.
They posted it every now and then, but I'm telling you, the Blast have a huge camp. I think this was their biggest camp season ever in recent time. And guess what? They posted that one time that it was like their biggest. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. They had a few posts here and there reminding camps, a few pictures of camps and stuff like that. But I just feel like it could have been done more. And I partially feel that it's just too much on one person's shoulders, that they should get more help. And I guarantee it would be much better.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you only have, I know in Milwaukee's case, I think the owner, Mike Zimmerman, is running the social media account. Well, there's no way he's going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So you can't hold that against him, but you can say, well, there should be someone there running it. So Eric posted something. Notice that all the teams competing for the Central Cup are more active. I don't know what the Central Cup is. Could we have more information on the second annual Central Cup there, Eric?
Let's go, Dallas.
What I really want to know, can you get a red card for punching a player on your own team? Because if Benji were to get retaliation from last year, he'd be punching his teammate this time.
What if it's like one of those, like, good job, bud?
Good job, bud. Yeah, I don't know. You never know.
It's interesting. But let's switch over to talk about the signings, because there's some good stuff going on.
So our last show was with Keith Tozer on August 31st. Since then, counting is hard. I lost count. There's like 15 or 16 changes, either releases
Right.
or signings.
Yes, sir.
Two big releases. St. Louis released Jonathan Santos. I think we all saw that coming after what happened in the playoffs. And we already talked about Rafa getting released by the Wave. Rafa almost immediately within a week got signed by St. Louis. He's going to be both an excellent, I don't even want to say backup, I'll just say second keeper. And
I think
also,
they're preparing for that transition, right? Because, Pablo's been there for some time. I mean, he's up there with the age. I think Rafa Diaz would be a great, person to fill in.
so before he got injured last year, he got hit in the head like 3 times in one game, and that kind of put things downhill. But up until that point, he had the best stats of any keeper in the league in the 2019-2020 season.
So I'm interested to see what will happen. I mean, Ambush, on top of that, Ambush were super, super active. They signed, one?
Well, real quick about Rafa, he was also the goalkeeper coach. So he's going to step right into that role and both be the coach, mentor, and second keeper if needed in that spot.
Which is good.
Which is going to be great. Yeah. So St. Louis then has also been on on a tear. They signed 3 guys from open tryouts, including one from
Sunflower.
Thank you. So I thought that was really cool, and that's we've been talking
Which
about
was Wyatt Flower. Oh my God, forgot his last name.
Fowler.
Thank you.
Who I think is also a keeper, isn't he?
He is a keeper.
Yep.
Yeah, he is a keeper.
So
and they signed the biggest signing, I think, out of what they've been doing is also SK, right?
SK and Marcel Berry are both going to be big for them.
Right.
I mean, we know that they have a lot of pieces to fill. They had a major coaching change, so that's going to come into play. I've heard that they're not done yet, so we'll see what that means. I may have a bad feeling on what one of them may be, and I'm not going to say anything live because I don't want to. I don't want to admit it, but let's get on to probably the biggest signing so far. Get on to the second. Let's get on to the second biggest signing so far.
Which one?
Chris Toth signs back with Fury.
So I was listening to Philly and Panda's podcast, and they were talking about a big signing, a Hollywood signing, as they called it. I don't know if this is it, but if it is, I can see why they say that, because it's a huge thing, but it puts 2 things into question, right? Who's going to be their number 1?
It's Toth. That's not a question. 100%.
Come on, man. DeLima, the season he had.
I love Clayson. I love what he did, but you can't sign Chris Toth and say you're going to be backup. He hasn't shown a decline at all. In fact, he's probably gotten better.
Yeah, this is true.
And you can't do it.
But what does that mean? Does it mean that we're going to have more back-to-back games and that's why they're signing 2 keepers, or what? Because you're doing one of 2 things. You're either sacrificing Clayson or you are just telling him, hey, we're going to have more consistent games back-to-back so we could switch, every other night. So it's like, I don't know, man.
Or I honestly don't think this signing is beneficial for Clayson, obviously. I really want to see him go somewhere where he can thrive. Like, I really don't think Ontario's that team. I know another team, and I did mention it when Toth got signed, and I think Clayson to Dallas is a great move for him, and it would definitely help Dallas out in the back.
We actually, some Wave fans and I thought, or it was mostly Scotty Fellows thought that Rafa was going to go to Dallas.
Real quick. So Eric corrected us. It's Tito Favela. That is the keeper, not Fowler.
And
okay, go ahead.
He also said that we can't talk about the Central Cup because the first rule of Central Cup is you can't talk about Central Cup.
Okay, cool.
But details are coming soon about the thing that we can't talk about.
Can we talk about the?
Wait. Let's go back to what we were talking about.
That is going to be in the middle of the country.
Say that again, Matt?
So can we talk about a cup that's going to be in the middle of the country?
I mean, if you look at the country and you look at the teams that are in this middle of the country club, they're kind of shifted over a little bit. They're not really in the middle, so it's more like
Let's call it the Mississippi Cup.
slightly left of center cup.
All right, I like it. There, problem solved.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Matt said, I don't know if I like that move. I mean, it's a good move for Ontario, but I don't know how favorable that is for Clayson.
And you don't know.
It's not.
It's not at all for Clayson. Absolutely 100% not. And
I mean, we don't know, right? Because what if they are having games back to back? What if they are bumping up how many games they play this season?
It could be. The other thing that it could do is it could cause some strife there. I mean, I know Clayson really wanted to prove himself the last time he played with Toth, and he surely did last season. But as Ontario, if you get the chance to sign a guy like that, I don't think you can pass that up.
This is true.
This is
true.
And I think that what's going on over there?
Matt, not that kind of a show.
I'm turning the fan off. And plus, it's
Not
after
that kind of
hours. It doesn't matter.
What happened to your phone quality? Did you get a new phone and go back in time 15 years?
I did. No, actually, this is my mom's phone. It's new. It's newer.
It's worse. Worser.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Matt, by
I'm
the
here.
way,
I'm here. That's all that matters.
by
You
the
already
way,
know what I look like.
that team on your chest is more active than some teams that are participating, which is so sad. But anyways, let's get back to the signings.
Adam's coming up with some sort of audio clip, I'm sure.
No, I'm trying to fix your video, but I don't think I can from my side.
Oh,
Anyway.
how much of a shocker was it that Charlie Golasso, as they like to say, or Gonzalez, is a Sockers?
0%
not.
shocked.
Come
Zero.
on, man. Let me
Zero.
have fun with it.
It was expected, and I'm surprised it took this long for them to announce it.
Agreed.
Well, I think he didn't sign because he had tournaments. He was attending futsal tournaments.
And the other thing I was thinking of is maybe he had a contract through the end of August, like a lot of players.
Oh, true.
But
that too.
But yeah, that was a no-brainer. We saw that coming from miles and miles, and I from the big night that they had their falling out, that I saw that coming from there. The third biggest signing, I think, is tied between the Comets picking up Mike DeSilva and James Togba.
Well, I mean, we kind of okay. Matt said they were gonna, sign him. I mean, and it makes sense. Like I said, in Baltimore, he didn't really have the chance because he was living behind Dantas, and I mean, they still had Peruzzi, they still had a few guys, even though Peruzzi was hurt, but still, he had a long list to go through, so he didn't really get his chance to shine. He didn't have the minutes he wanted. So when he had his season at the Comics last season, he had a great. I think he had a fantastic season.
If I were Dan Canizzi, GM of the Wave, I'd be like, "Oops, we let this guy go, and now there's no chance." But okay, let's talk about the biggest signing of the offseason, which
Wait. You let him talk about De Silva being in Baltimore.
We already know what you were gonna say. You guessed it.
No. I'm talking about Togba.
Right.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm going to hop off of or piggyback on what Gio said. Togba wasn't utilized in Utica the way he was utilized in Kansas City.
Yeah.
The last year he played in Kansas City, he was second in the league in power play goals. He was utilized in the power play for Kansas City, and it worked out really well for him. But when he was in Utica, it wasn't. I don't know if it was just not thought of, or wasn't in the cards, or what. I think he was underutilized here, and it's good to see him. Good to see him back in Kansas City, and I know he's going to have a good year.
I wonder how much
I
of that
think
was what Tozer was talking about last time about your first year as a new coach, which I kind of assume is the same for new players coming in. It's just kind of a watch and see year. So you bring them in, you go here and you do this and you do your thing and just kind of watch and see. And then at the end of the season, you go, oh, you know what? We should have used him more in the power play. We're going to do that next time. But, there is no next time.
I think though, it's not, it is that, but it's also, the style of play. Like in Baltimore, we're really heavy with defense, right? In Utica, they're really a possession based team, as where in Kansas City, they're fast on the counter and they're high pressing, so they're always up top. They're always their foot forward, right? So Mike, obviously, speed. He stays up top. He's a forward. And then Togba, he's really attack minded. So I think those styles fit them, what they didn't have here or there. Hi, baby.
Like, settle down over there. What's going on?
I know, right? Why you gotta yell at me?
Kansas City is going to be dangerous this year. Very, very, very dangerous.
Like they weren't last season.
But right, but like I said last season, they reminded me of like the 2012, 2013, 2014 Comets in there, where everything you just said, they're high press and they counter, and you can possess against them and they'll go back into a shell, and as soon as the ball leaks out, they're down the field 3-on-2.
Yeah, the worst thing you could do with this comics team is lose it in the midfield because they're high press and they're really great with the counter.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So now the biggest signing is a tie between Nick Pereira and Danny Waltman.
Oh, you son of a!
Am I right? I mean,
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say
Not really.
the one signing that we haven't talked about that someone wants to talk about over there.
No, yeah, there you go.
That's like tied for 25th in my opinion. But
No,
Yeah.
but come on, Danny Wallman and friggin' Nick Pereira signing is not a big news.
Nick Pereira was MVP.
It's an expected news. They would be crazy to leave Tacoma. They're super happy there.
I'm surprised Danny's playing after we talked to him.
That is true. That is true.
And I mean, okay. Anyway,
Well, how much of that is Danny wanting to play or the necessity to have a good goalkeeper? Like which came first, Toph leaving or Danny signing?
on paper, it was 1 day apart. Toth left the 9th and Danny signed the 10th, but I'm sure they were in the same time frame.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like obviously what we see on the website is a day apart, but like did one cause the other to happen?
Maybe, but
that's too much thinking.
I can't see Danny getting pressured in to playing when he decided not to, just based on the fact that both left.
The fact that Danny, like, there's no backup keeper in Tacoma. So as of right now, Danny Waltman is playing every single game.
Nah, Nick said he's the backup.
So if you're going to talk about there's no backup or keeper in a team, look at Milwaukee's roster right now.
Oh yeah,
there are no.
I mean, Vanzella's getting old, bro. He's always telling me that he needs a backup.
I think if we learned anything in the COVID season, is that teams, and we've been talking about this for 10 years in the sport, teams need to really adopt the two-keeper system. And maybe not even a backup, a primary and a primary that are sharing time. And the Wave have done it time and time again. And I think teams need to really look at that. You want a backup keeper who can step in with no warm up and get the job done. And I think we've seen in the case in many teams in the past that if the backup keeper comes in, you're done. You're in trouble. Look at what happened to DeLima.
Yeah,
he gets hurt.
I mean,
and game over.
Yeah, and I think with Danny and Sophie being on the same team, same thing with Pardo and Vanzella being on the same team, it really showed how effective it is to have two top keepers. Yep. Even though it's tough because let's say one of them is in the prime of their career, they're not going to want to share minutes.
They're going to have to learn how to something like that.
Have to learn.
Have to learn. So anyway, okay, let's get off of that subject. Max Ferdinand the Blast obviously is the biggest news of the offseason. He's going back home.
He is coming home.
There is an interesting bit of controversy around that, maybe, because
No, it's not.
when and I can bring up the press release. I'm not going to. When St. Louis signed him, the press release said the deal puts him in a what was the wording? The deal puts him in an ambush jersey for 2 years with the option for a third. And what we're finding out now is apparently that was not the case. I can't imagine.
Or maybe it was, and the Blast just paid a fee for it.
I can't imagine St. Louis with the money that they're spending on players in the last 2 years. I can't imagine them taking a fee to give away someone like Matt.
Well, I mean, the Max was there because of Everton.
Right. But
So,
and people said to me, well, what if he went to St. Louis and asked to be released? Ask Mike Zimmerman what he would do if Ian went to him and said, hey, I want to be released. He would say no.
right. So the only way St. Louis will give up a player is for a transfer fee.
Right.
I would assume so.
Which there was no trade involved. It was a direct signing, which means he was a free agent at that time. He was not under contract.
But who knows what actually went. You know, these teams are so transparent that we don't really know what happened.
So the way the MASL system works is if they are still under contract, it has to show up as a trade. It cannot just show up as a signing.
So I have insider information here. So I've heard that Max did get traded to Baltimore, and Jonathan Santos is also going to Baltimore for some Old Bay seasoning.
I hate this guy.
It seems legitimate.
I mean, I think it's a good trade for both.
Yeah. Old Bay is pretty good stuff.
It is delicious.
I want hey Gianni, if you're watching here, somebody's in Baltimore, send me some crab chips.
Dan Pavleski.
Look, Brad knows what he's talking about.
So here's the thing though. He had an opt-out in his contract after and that's the thing. He obviously had an opt-out in his contract after 1 year, but when St. Louis signed him, they published that he was on a 2-year with an opt-out for a third, or an opt-in for a third. So
what if he had a buyout clause?
But if he had a buyout clause, it would show up as a trade.
What if they were like, hey, let's do it under the table because we have no commissioner right now?
Well, there is a commissioner right now.
No, but before they came in. What if this was already negotiated?
You can't, no.
Because
you're making stuff
rumor
up.
has it, since the end of the season last season, rumor, right? No one's confirming or denying whether I saw or did not see. No one can confirm. But rumor has it he's been here since the end of last season.
Maybe.
My head hurts from all this.
He might have signed some jerseys at youth camp or two.
Yeah,
might have
hurt.
So what that tells me is, I don't want to say this a lot. I think St. Louis maybe stretched the truth to make it.
What if it was legit? That was the contract, and they just agreed on. They did a handshake deal, and no one was mad about it, and they just let it go.
That's not what happened.
Why can't it just be fairy tale endings, man?
Because the most what's the Occam's razor? The most simple explanation is usually the easiest one. So
why are we? Oh my God.
Matt is having a headache.
I'm having a stroke over here.
It's
aneurysm. Who is he? Can we get him on the show?
It's MASL or Philosophy in the Box hour with your host.
Sorry, Matt. We got a little deep there.
I think
and Socrates.
I blast.
Oh my God.
What?
I think therefore I blast.
Nice. So, I've heard from several St. Louis fans that even though they have signed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players now and lost 2, that they're still waiting for that signing that the fans go, wow, we really got that guy. Kind of like they got with Max last season.
So I'm gonna
But who
just
would they want?
off topic for a second. So you counting right there reminds me of that post
Oh my
you did
god.
on Facebook with the count
That was the
censored.
greatest thing ever. So, for everyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, go on YouTube and search the count censored. And they took and bleeped out every time he said the word count or counting or counted. And it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
It's true. It
Because
is.
they didn't change any words. They just put a beep in there.
Yeah.
Best thing I've ever seen. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, so I don't know who St. Louis wants to see. I think they don't know, but they just want to have some big name. But what I have to say to St. Louis fans is kind of what Tozer talked about and we talked about afterwards. When you sign all your core players to multi-year agreements, I think that means more than bringing in a Max Ferdinand for one season or a Landon Donovan for one season as a move. I think it says, here's the core of our team. We are putting an investment in these guys. We're going to bring our team to the future because we signed them for 3, 4, 5 years. And this is where we want to. And I've been thinking more and more and more about Tozer saying, because I tend to overthink things. I don't know if you guys figured this out or not by now.
I think you and I are on this boat together.
The comment he made about you should never let your players you want to keep even into the last year of their season. Your contract should be figured out before you even start the last year of your season makes so much more sense.
Yep.
And I understand money plays, things and hurt feelings and, people want to move and it's nice in Florida and, all that other kind of thing. But
you guys are definitely on that boat, and I'm on shore, like waving, saying like goodbye.
Have fun storming the castle.
Safe travels.
Yeah. All right. I think we covered all the signings.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, before you go.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, we're not going to.
Before we go to the next topic, I just want to make a point to what you say. I think, I don't want to defend Sockers. I don't. But where they were the previous season, they had signed their core players, right? A few of them for multiple years. So it makes sense. I think the big signing makes sense if you already have your core signed to a few years and you're looking to make noise and you are doing it for business purposes, right? It makes sense. But if you're still building your core, there's no reason to sign that.
And I know that, I mean, we kind of called it, when Florida started losing, like, oh, who do they have to buy now to get, to win more games? And it's, you can't buy a team like that. It just, I mean, you can in some cases, but it's just, you got to work in the chemistry. Yeah, you got to work on the chemistry. You got to get everything built together. And if you bring in someone like a Max to a team that's kind of really getting going, you disrupt things. And I know there were issues, locker room type issues, where players were, I don't want to use the word jealous, but probably a little jealous, a little hurt that this guy comes in and takes over what they thought their spot was going to be. And I think by signing the core players and going, you know what, you're our investment, it says a lot. Now, St. Louis could completely blow me out of the water here by signing, Vinny Dantas tomorrow. Obviously, that won't happen, but or a big name tomorrow. But you never know.
So
I don't want to say too much because I know something that may happen that I don't want to talk about. What?
Seamless transition from Florida. Hugo Silva got signed for 5 years, I think, and Drew Ruggles signed as well.
Yep,
that's true. Those weren't on the site yet. So when if people look at the transaction site on MASLsoccer.com, someone has to manually enter those things in there, and there's a point. I think there's a point where they can announce a signing before like the final actual signatures on the paper, or it goes through the office, or it's filed or whatever, and that's when they enter it on the website. So that's why those two didn't show up, and that's why some of these didn't show up right away. Like the Toth and Waltman thing may not have been the exact timing that shows up on the site. They may have been different times.
And I think, and I don't even know if this, or if he had a contract or a 2-year contract or whatever, but Ricardo Dieguez is coming back to Utica. It's in that little 2-minute commercial that they did. So he'll be back in Utica again. So that's good news.
I'm excited to see if any of these teams sign. Obviously, St. Louis has, but I'm excited to see if any other team signs players from the open tryouts or invitational tryouts, whichever they had. Because like the Blast had the invitational tryouts this morning. They're gonna have them all week. I actually saw a few players I knew and played with when I was younger. There.
Nice. Are you trying out then?
No, I'm not. No. So I'm excited to see this. See what happens with these teams that have had open tryouts or invitational tryouts.
They happen every year. When my daughter was playing high school soccer, one of the dads said he tries out every year, and I'm like, dude, you're like 50. Like, what do you think you're doing with that, other than giving yourself a chance to get hurt by some 20-year-old kid that's in there to try to prove a point?
I don't know. I wanted to try out for Utica for a few years. Now I can't because of my leg, but I wanted to do it for a few years and never did. I wanted to.
I love playing the game, but I think I enjoy more making the content.
I played in an over 40 men's rec league and was as goalkeeper and was completely terrified, and I can't even imagine taking even warm-up shots from some of the players in the MASL. From any of the players in the MASL.
Matt, you sound like an alien.
So what's going on with your audio, Matt?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. I'll be right back.
All right, bye. We'll talk about it when you're gone.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, Matt.
So man, he left before he could answer those two.
Oh, so
one question.
They did said call Christian. So in the Utica video, they said you call Christian, I'll call Ricardo.
Yeah.
So see, that means Segura's coming back. I don't want to make this political at all, but I did see something that the U.S. is going to lift travel restrictions from Europe into the U.S. like November-ish.
Oh, so you're talking about a certain English player?
No.
Oh, never mind that.
The only English player I know got married and is living in Milwaukee happily ever.
But what about the English player in Utica?
Who's that?
He's English, right? Let me not say anything. Let me do my research before I
know what you're talking about.
Put my foot in my mouth.
I don't know anything about Utica players. That's Matt's job. I do have one thing. Well, we'll wait for Matt to come back for that too. We're gonna be waiting all night because Matt probably just used that as an excuse to go to bed.
Yeah, I know. Come on, Matt.
That's what I would do.
Well, I guess while we're waiting, I do have a question, and I don't know if you'll have the answer, but what does that mean for the players? For example, Blast signed a player, Jake Dangler, last season when they were going to play, but didn't play.
I do know the answer to that. Assuming the answer is the same with the old commissioner as it is with the new, I have no reason to believe that they would change this. If they signed for a 1-year contract and the team didn't play, the year still stands. So after that year, the contract's over. So that's why players that were on loan, their contracts reverted back. But if they're on a contract, let's say they're on a 3-year contract that ended last year and their team didn't play, they're free agents now.
Thank you for educating us, Adam.
Yes, so that is the way that works. And that's why it's even more confusing because people are like, in Florida, are like, oh, I can't wait till we get Ian back. And it's like, well, no, he's on a lifetime contract. We're like, well, if he's on a lifetime contract, how did he play for us last season? Well, because of the opt-out clause for the teams. And like in the case of, it happened to KC 3, 4, 5 years ago, somewhere in there. And then it happened to Orlando when all the mix-ups and things happened with ownership. The MASL just said all the players are free agents right now and are free to sign wherever. And that's when some of the KC players left both for Utica or maybe even Syracuse at the time, and then also for Tacoma. That looks a million times better, Matt.
Oh my goodness, Matt! You
I don't
look
know what you did.
tiny.
I don't know what I did either.
Did the aliens
some sort of
return you to your
stutter.
home?
Yeah.
Whatever you did, fixed your phone.
Yeah. There we
Whatever
go.
you did.
So I am tech savvy.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about a couple things. The first thing, we are doing a little special thing this coming season. We want everybody who is in a city or a fan of any team in the league, MASL, M2, M3, to we're going to do a corn dog roll call. We want you to send in a picture of you with the corn dog in your arena. If you do not have one, contact us. We will make arrangements. I know
All
there's
the
a
links for you to contact us are there.
right here.
But
And by the way, speaking of corn dog, let's do a little refresh thing. Hopefully I don't blow up the stream here. Well, okay. I posted it in Facebook saying we're going to have a corn dog giveaway tonight. We're going to give it, we're at 129 subscribers on YouTube. When we hit 135, assuming it happens during tonight's show, we will give the 135th subscriber a corn dog. We are currently at 129 subscribers, so that failed completely miserably.
Thank
you for subscribing, guys. Jesus Christ.
And
Wait,
as a reminder,
I don't think people know how to do it. Yeah. How do you?
There's a
you do it
giant
by doing-
red button that says subscribe. Click on that, and that makes you subscribed.
No, but we really are trying to grow this channel, guys. So we really appreciate if you subscribe, share it, share the links and the shorts and stuff we're doing to really grow this channel. Because as the commissioners are trying to do,
I don't want anyone sharing.
And
short.
Matt, you shush your face.
So speaking of shorts, so last season we had the corn dog moments, which an astonishing 12 of you used to watch on a regular basis. So we decided to stop doing that because it's actually a lot of work to put those in. We are now doing YouTube shorts, which are similar to TikTok videos. It's YouTube's kind of a competitive thing to what TikTok is doing. They are 1 minute or less videos. They are taken in this, vertical phone, kind of angle, and they're tagged with the, hashtag shorts. We have 5 of them already, 6 of them. The first one we did, which was the goal from Omaha Kings, that got 225 views. A couple others are lower, but the Daryl Duran Wallace score, and we're doing Wallace score on Wednesdays, maybe every week. Or
yeah, we are doing it every week.
We've done 2 so far. The Huffman Andre Hain goal was one of the best I've ever seen. And then the Daryl Duran goal is currently on 952 views. I don't know how that happened. I don't know what happened with that, but thank you everyone who watched that. I'm sure not all 952 of you will watch this video.
Brian,
can
I
make a recommendation for Wallace Score Wednesday?
Yes.
Well, it'll be one of the first times Syracuse beat Baltimore.
Okay, never mind. We could skip this.
No, it was a really good goal. I'll have to send it to you.
Find the game, send it to Geo. Geo will make it happen.
I'm the magic man.
So Brian,
I will make it happen. I will hate you the whole time.
Yeah, right.
I will make it happen.
So you already do.
Brian says he's already subscribed. What about prizes for current subscribers? We will do that. We being me didn't plan ahead enough, and I only thought about it a half an hour before the show started. But yes, we'll Brian message me. We'll take care of you.
And we've been getting a lot of stickers, so we're gonna start giving away stickers. We're gonna start doing a lot of giveaways. Don't worry, guys.
What?
We're getting there.
Are you giving away your signed jerseys and signed MASL soccer balls on the back wall?
So those soccer balls, no, but I do have some signed jerseys that in the future there will be contests for.
Oh, which players have irritated you enough that you're going to give away their jersey?
None. Actually, one of them is actually going to hurt my heart near and dear, but it's okay.
Don't give it away then. Keep it for yourself. Be selfish. Embrace the selfishness.
No.
So
it's for the sport. Everybody
if you are in a city that does not have a corn dog, let me know, and we will figure something out. I know we have almost all the teams covered, and I think Annette has one in Florida. I don't know about Chihuahua. I don't know about Dallas. I don't know if Dallas has a corn dog.
Chihuahua,
there.
we're working on.
Tacoma. I don't know if Tacoma has it, but Brian's in Tacoma. Maybe we can figure that out. Hey, Brian, check the dumpster out back behind the Tacoma office and see if our corn dog trophy is back there. I think might have fallen in the dumpster accidentally. 100%.
No, but Brian, seriously, reach out to us.
Also, check the dumpster.
It's probably in the Puget Sound somewhere.
Right. But anyway, so this leads me to my next thing. I did a teaser video on someday. I don't know when that was. What day is today? What month is it?
You did it on Saturday. You did it on Saturday.
Sure, I did.
Today is Monday.
Friday.
It was Friday because Saturday I was out on the river all day long catching fish.
Okay, so it was Friday.
So I teased this box on whatever day that was, and I look how I got the addresses out of there. You like that, Gio? I didn't have to use corn dogs. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Jack, Utica's good for corn dogs. St. Louis fan David Kraft saw this in what I assume was like a thrift shop type thing in St. Louis and said he had to grab it and send it to me. And ta-da! Wave fans are going to appreciate this. No one else probably cares. This is a signed Wave pennant from sometime between 1996 and 2004 from the Dusowski brothers, Troy and Todd Dusowski. I have a message out to someone who definitely knows the history, and we'll try to find out when exactly this was made. So I got to find a place for this. Oh, maybe I'll put it. So Matt just logged off. Matt's like, I'm out of here. So anyway, so that's that.
That's awesome.
That was cool.
I love memorabilia.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. I really appreciate this.
That's awesome.
That was a fine. I don't really have excuse me. I don't have any old legacy Wave memorabilia. I don't have any of the old stuff. Probably the oldest thing I have was one of our first years. I don't even think we were season ticket holders yet. We were at a game and the audio is crapping out on Matt, so he logged off. We were sitting at the game just watching, and all of a sudden one of the runners comes up, arena, staff Wave staff comes up to my daughter Mandy, and she was 11 or 12 maybe at the time, maybe even younger. Mm-hmm. Said, "Oh, congratulations, you won this signed ball, which has all the autographs and the team members." And it was the old red striped MASL ball. Or actually, that was MISL.
I'm so jealous. I need to get some old stuff now.
I could go run and get it, but it's in the other room. I don't want to get it. But yeah, that's really the only old stuff I have. And then there were a couple pennants and things that we got over the years. But yeah.
I have a buddy of mine that he doesn't play for our youth club. His kids play for our youth team, and he sent me these pictures of all like the stuff he's collected for the Blast. It's an impressive collection. It's really awesome. So I get jealous when I see stuff like that because I wasn't alive. I couldn't buy it.
Right? Yeah.
I was not even a thought.
Yeah, I got something really cool to announce. I am almost 2 full weeks NFL free. Haven't watched a single second of football this season.
Welcome to the dark side. So usually my better half, when I put on a soccer game or indoor soccer game, she watches, but like a regular soccer game, she'll go upstairs. When she puts on a football game, I go upstairs.
I've been thinking about, and we talked about this last year too, but I ever since I started watching soccer more and more seriously, and I watch all the indoor games. I don't watch that many outdoor games because most of the time I just don't pay enough attention. I don't have all the networks to get them, so I'll watch outdoor games if I can. And like the game we were watching, the Seattle Sounders game.
Oh, right.
Where, why wouldn't Seattle score in the last 3 minutes of a game like they do every time? Sorry, Brian, I'm a Seattle fan. And actually, I'm not a Seattle Sounders fan because I don't like the Seahawks. How do you like that comparison? But I do think Seattle has one of the
He just
coolest
hates the
uniforms.
state of Washington, apparently.
No, because I like Danny and Nick.
Oh well.
Except for when Nick threw out the corn dog trophy, but it's another story altogether. But so over the years, I've been kind of getting irritated. And as a Packer fan, watching the defense do the same exact thing every year, where, and I actually wrote down all the games because somebody said, well, they got 10th place defense last year. I'm like, yeah, but they keep losing. Like big games, they get blown out. And it's like every year back since the Super Bowl and a decade ago, they just get blown out at some point in the playoffs. They basically, they can score a lot of points, but then they can't play defense, and it's just really irritated. And they've gone through 3 coaches now since then, three defensive coaches.
Oh, Brad, don't hurt my feelings.
And then the whole Aaron Rodgers thing was like, you know what, I'm not gonna even bother. I'm done. So I'm 100% dedicated to. I'm actually watching old pool matches from anywhere from the early 90s through like the mid 2000s or 2010s.
They have those? I didn't even know that was a thing.
They're on YouTube. Pool used to be huge on TV. It would be picked up on networks, and then ESPN always had it on. And then at some point, it just kind of fell out of favor.
Sorry, you made me think about the interview from MASL today that Philly did, because you mentioned TV.
Oh yeah.
When JP was talking, it slipped out. He was like, "We're working with a lot of teams to get their game streamed and televised." And when he said televised, he was like, "So I'm assuming something is coming about that. I don't want to make too much noise about it because I don't want to get people."
And we know that teams have had like local Fox Sports, right, CBS Sports, NBC Sports games televised.
But since his name is so big in Fox, I wonder if he'll be able to get some extra leverage.
I would hope so.
I would hope so. I would be excited.
I would hope they do it right. I mean, we've talked about the broadcast quality, and I like the fact that they are not talking about minimum standards; they're just talking about professional standards. And
well, I mean, that's part of why speculating, but why Turlock is in M2.
I think it's probably 90% of the reason, if I had to guess.
Yeah, same, completely.
Yeah, wondering. So I kind of know. I know. Rochester had issues with their arena. I know. I don't know anything about Mesquite, why they weren't in the season at all. I don't know if it's another arena issue or.
I don't know, because didn't they just put in that big old thing in the middle, the big old Teletron thing?
It's the worst idea ever. Maybe it's because of that.
The Megatron.
Like you gotta raise your Megatron up at least high enough that somebody can throw the ball and they don't have to try to throw it over the scoreboard. It's in the middle of the field.
But I mean, regardless of like the teams that aren't going to be in there, I'm excited to see the teams. I just hope no more teams drop out, though I speculate that 1, maybe 2 will be.
I'm concerned for Harrisburg.
I am too.
I'm concerned for. But all I'm concerned.
So I was concerned about Monterrey until they released this lovely post where they're celebrating their 40th or 40th.
Oh, I saw that.
Something like that.
But have they posted anything since then?
Yeah, they posted a few things like their camps and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what they do, and they do post more in like the Spanish like areas and stuff like that, like groups and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what they do. Completely
theoretically, if Monterey were to be out, how would that affect Chihuahua, because they have no local? And I mean local meaning they don't have to travel across the border.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, we know what happens with that travel, visas and teams going down there and everything. It seems like it's a huge burden with only 2 Mexican teams as it is. because one of the big complaints from Monterey fans were all we do is play Solis de Sonora and Dallas and Mesquite. And now Mesquite's out, and now Solis de Sonora's out.
Oh, Savage. I think Savage. They're not really worried about traveling to San Diego and Fury to where Furies is. Oh, Ontario. I don't know why forgot. And should I say they're not worried about traveling to Ocean City or Oceanside
Oh, oh yeah, yeah. No, that's
to
for a couple
play?
of years yet. I mean, I'm
To
looking
play.
at the Monterey and Chihuahua aren't anywhere near close to each other.
They're not. That's why it's not. It's not like what it was before.
Yeah,
Well, Sonora wasn't even close to them, so I don't
yeah.
like Chihuahua's on the border, so it's
But
really close.
I look at it as if you teams that had to cross the U.S. border versus not cross the U.S. border.
Oh, I
So
see
if you
what
have
you
three
mean.
teams in Mexico, they can do games against each other without having to incur that extra cost to go over the border, or the
I see what
extra
you mean.
headache to have teams come over the border to visit them.
But that's what the Mexican teams like, though.
Well, that's okay. Well, I'm good. I'm
They
good with that.
they like having teams either come here or they make that travel to wherever. That was one of the complaints that I always heard from like the Mexican teams is that they played too much like in Mexico or just the Mexican
Okay.
sides. But they wanted that diversity, which I would love to see more Mexican teams though.
All I know is the back-to-back versus Monterey and Sonora was not good, and the Wave scored 20 goals in 2 games and lost both. I mean, so Brad just asked. It's Jack. I'm gonna get to your question in a second. Brad says, "Adam, will you be a Blast fan if Milwaukee doesn't play?" Um, technical difficulties.
No,
Okay.
he's gonna be a Comets fan. You know it, Brad. He's
I'm a comment. I'm gonna be a Comets fan regardless, but I have to split my brain when we play. So Brad, I don't know if you heard before, Ticketmaster has posted all the Milwaukee home games on their site. So they are reserved. The dates are in. I assume that means that the dates are. Then the schedule is like. I use the word imminent because the schedule should be coming on any day now. Not last season, but 2 seasons ago it came out on September 25th, and the season before was right around that. So we're in that like 2 to 3 week period. It may be a little bit different this year. I know Tozer said they hired a third party company to do the schedule, and I think they're to get to Jack's point. Utica and Baltimore are about to be playing 12 games this season. Harrisburg is gone. That was really the domino that killed the East teams last year. Once Rochester was like, we're out, then Harrisburg is like, yeah, we're out, and then Utica and Baltimore are like, well, we just can't do it. I hope that doesn't happen this year. I would assume it won't because
well. So that you bring up a good point because this season there is no 4 conferences. There's 2 divisions,
right,
East and West.
but Baltimore going to the 4 teams in their area versus going to Florida and AC is that's a big travel.
Yeah, I know, but for some reason they're choosing to go that route.
Yeah.
Because why would they put everyone in the same conference or division or whatever they're going to call it this season?
Yeah.
If they're not expecting to play at least the same amount of games with each team.
Yeah, we don't know what the plan is. We had that one plan where
Right.
nobody played anybody outside the division or conference or whatever we call it until the finals. That worked out really well for us. Sorry, San Diego. And then we had it didn't make any sense to have conferences in a 7-team league.
Right.
And that's the way it was in the MISL. It was just one MISL. It was just one conference or division or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Right now there's 13 teams. It makes sense to have 6 and 7. I don't know why the East always gets the higher number. It seems like whatever division Milwaukee's in gets the higher number of teams in there.
It's because if they're going to put KC in the East, they're going to put St. Louis in the East. They're not going to split them up.
Yep.
So, and just you put those two in the conference, automatically you have two.
Yeah, that's
But-
true. But
Because-
if one of the West teams were to drop out, then it's 7-5, and now what?
But I'm assuming if one of the West drops out, one in the East drops out. I'm already assuming that one in the East is dropping out.
Yeah, it's hard not to agree with that.
Yeah. So I'm feeling we're gonna have a six per conference, 12 games, one home, one away.
What if we make it every team's in the same conference, and then the regular season doesn't matter at all, and everyone makes the playoffs?
Go home.
I am home.
Go home. Go home. Disconnect.
You don't like that idea?
No, I hate that idea. No way. I would not. I would. I can't say I wouldn't watch the season
I
because
know.
I'm addicted, but I will watch it angrily or mad.
I only skipped
English.
like 1 or 2 games because of the broadcast. Pissed me off so bad last. I couldn't. I wouldn't.
I'm so excited to see what Florida's gonna do.
I'm so excited to be sitting in arena, eating a walking taco, watching the players warm up.
Yeah, that's true. But just as far as we're talking about broadcasting.
Oh, I something that was said when we had JP on, of maybe some teams just don't make the TV deals. And I could see someone like Florida who thinks that they don't have to replace their turf because they think it's just fine, puts that green shitty looking turf out there, and the league goes, you know what? We're just not going to air you on our TV deal. You just get the streaming and only.
The pay-per-view. I wonder if they're gonna do Facebook again.
I don't know. I would hope that Facebook would up their game,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no refresh option in their app on Samsung TVs. Samsung, the number one TV manufacturer, most popular TV out there, and the app for Facebook, there's no refresh.
Wasn't that a beta though at one point? Is it still? Is
The
it live
TV
now?
itself seems like a beta still. But
Oh my
yes,
god!
yes, Scotty, exactly.
What does Scotty say? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Scotty, just stick to Florida.
You know
I
we
mean,
need
sorry,
to-
Dallas.
You know what we need to do? And I don't think we're going to get to it. If we do a show next Monday, we won't get to it before then. There's some options in the streams to make less latency between the time that we talk and the time you guys see it. So, Scotty, that was almost 20 seconds after we started talking about it or went to the next topic. I want to try those options. We got to remember to do that. See if we can speed up the time between the chat. One conference top 6 makes playoffs. That would work too, especially if it's an odd number, like it's 7-5. If Harrisburg were to go out, it'd be 6-6, and then it makes sense to do 2 conferences and do maybe top 3 with a wild card system or something.
I still like 2 conferences and top 3 go. Or no,
That's what I
let's
just
just do
said.
top 4.
Why don't we do top 5?
No,
Why don't we do top 6 from each conference?
get out.
And then we play my idea of, instead of a playoff home and home and home, we do a best of 7 mini games.
Okay, MISL.
No, but it's all mini games. So you get to the playoffs and all your games are 15-minute mini games. And you play the best of 7 of those
Imagine
mini
going
games.
to that. You'd be so pissed.
It would be interesting.
It would be interesting.
There would be no continuity between quarters, though. It would be just brand new games every time.
Yeah. No, I think let's not do that.
So back to the pool topic. In the old days, they used to do, they would call races. So you play a race to first to win
That's
7
right.
games. Best out of whatever that is. So they would do 2 sets best, race to 7, and if it was tied, they would flip a coin and do one rack, and whoever won that one rack won the whole thing. What they did this year at one of the tournaments in Vegas was 2 sets, and it was only a race to 3 or I think 4. And then after that, they did basically like a free throw competition where they put a ball on the spot and they moved the cue ball around. They had to make shots, almost like a shootout. And it worked really well for pool, and it would be terrible for soccer.
It would be terrible for soccer.
Imagine Sydney just losing his mind over that, something like that being announced.
A lot of people would lose their mind over something like that being announced. But,
yeah, I mean, I like shootouts. I think there's way too much. It's like penalty kicks in outdoor. There's way too much pomp and circumstance around a half-second kick.
Yeah, agreed.
And in the shootout, there's way too much waiting and doing this and that and announcing and getting all set up for a 5-second shootout.
Yeah, I prefer just the what do you call it? The
golden goal.
Yeah, that.
But the problem is, you get into the regular season, you get what happened to Milwaukee and San Diego, where they tie through the whole thing. They tie through overtime, and Milwaukee has to go to Ontario the next night. Do you make them play infinite overtimes?
No, I mean oh, I see what you mean.
In the regular season, I'm talking.
Yeah.
Playoffs, obviously, we do golden goal, unlimited overtime is the way it is.
So how bad of an idea is if they allow ties in the regular season?
Well, I've already heard enough people say in playoff games, they're like, oh, all we got to do is beat them by 3 on the road, and we're going to we're going to the next round. And I turn on like there's no aggregate in indoor, and they look at me like I have a third eye growing out of the back of my head. And it's like, no, it's win or loss. There's no ties. It's overtime. It's much more hockey than it is soccer. I think. Speaking of hockey, I think.
Sorry. You just reminded my mind. You just reminded me of something. Interesting fact. It was once known as hock sock.
So I wondered about that because both Philly and Jonathan kept calling it that. And that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, right, they did.
That might be one of the worst names ever. So we went through this back in the days of the other group. Aaron De La Rosa has coined the term that we're going to use for the sport if we ever rename it. It's Thunderdome in all caps.
But can you imagine that?
Thunderdome?
Can you imagine like that? I'm gonna go watch Thunderdome. It has nothing to do with the sport.
MTL, Major Thunderdome League.
Oh my God! Let's just go back to MASL.
I don't think that's a good idea, but I know at least one of the 3 wants the word indoor back in the game.
I wonder how that's going to affect the Mexican teams. They play outdoor.
That's how this whole thing started.
Oh, great.
It's funny watching some people go nuts over the word indoor versus arena. It really doesn't matter. I mean, the sport is indoor soccer, whether it's called arena soccer or indoor. And I remember Josh Schaub, trying to fit the word arena soccer, and it just sounded bad. It just didn't work. But
I mean, at the end of the day, it's in a door. Like, you're surrounded by doors or walls, should you say?
So should we call it the Major Wall Soccer League?
You should call it the Major Door League.
Wall ball.
No, door ball.
The major, it's soccer, but it's played on a turf in a hockey rink with the walls, and there's goals and stuff league.
All right, let's just call it hock sock.
Hock sock is bad. That's terrible. I was trying to explain it to people because, and we've talked about this before. People in the United States, when they hear the word soccer, just shy away because, I hate soccer. It's so boring. No, this is completely different. Have you ever been to a Wave game? No, I hate soccer. Well, it's completely different. Well, how is it so different? Well, it's played on this tiny field with turf, indoors with walls and glass, like the hockey thing. But some of the movement is a lot like basketball in moving players around and cycling the ball and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they use it with their feet, so it technically is a soccer game. And people can't get their heads wrapped around that. Oh, I don't like it. Soccer, it's boring. Hey, did you watch a 4.5 hour Packer game last night where they tied and then they went in overtime and someone kicked a field goal to win? That was great.
Adam's slowly becoming anti-football. I love it. We're poisoning him.
So in my growing up in high school, there were the musicians, there were the jocks, and I was obviously on the musician side. Even though I played varsity tennis, my cousin and I were doubles partners, and I did go out for soccer, but then it was kind of like you have to make a decision between sports or music, and I didn't really realize you could do both at the time. It just seemed like it was overwhelming. I went the music route, but for years I just didn't want anything to do with anything sports, and it was just not interesting. And when I moved out on my own, I didn't have a TV, so I went many years without watching anything. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to watch Packer games because I liked that watching those as a kid. So I bought my first, TV and VCR. Not a combo though, because the combos broke more often, so I bought the separate one, and was able to got back into it then.
Fun fact.
And wasted 40 years of my life, or 30 years, probably 30 years of my life at that point. But I saw 2 Super Bowls, so.
Hey, there you go. Live?
And I fell asleep watching Trent Dilfer win a Super Bowl for you guys. So. That.
Who's you guys? Are you talking about the Ravens?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't help. I wouldn't know. Sorry, Baltimore.
Yeah, but whatever. No, it's we won't have any soccer on that Super Bowl Sunday because it's pretty much suicide to try to do a sport on that day. That's not NFL, but
we'll see.
I don't ice fish, so I won't go fishing that day either. So, on a pool tournament to play. Anyway, I think we've probably worn our welcome out here.
No, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, man. We need to get. No, we didn't get there. We didn't hit our goal.
I want to see how many we're on.
We're still the same.
So all the people that wanted to go for what that means is either everyone watching is subscribed, which I hope that's the case, or everyone watching is like, I'm never subscribing to you guys. There's no way, but I'm going to keep watching you every week. So if you remember how the big red button there in that little corner, click that. If you hit the bell, you'll get a notification about 30 seconds after we go live, which is always really useful. And
you get to watch all the shorts.
And you get notified when all the shorts come out. Wallace Score Wednesday. Taco Tuesday. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, thank you for reminding me. Those that are watching, if you have a Wallace Score you remember you want to see, send us your favorite Wallace Score and we will get it on Wallace Score Wednesday.
Yes.
The more, the better.
If Ryan I think he's from KC, if he's still out there doing the Wallace Score thing, I was subscribed to him on Facebook and I watched all his videos until he started putting in the really shaky graphics, and I didn't want to watch the video and then puke all over the place from getting an epileptic seizure. So I had to stop watching those because they were bad. But I know he does one every once in a while, but I think Wallace Score Wednesday is a thing.
I think it is a thing because I think some teams are adopting it.
I know one person in particular who saw our show and adopted.
Let's not.
Hang on, anyway. Let's come up with something to invent to see if he picks it up. Handball? What? No. Corn dog Friday? No. I got nothing.
I got one.
Oh, what is it?
Foul Fridays.
Red card.
Oh no, let's just give it up.
I mean, you got the Throwback Thursday, but that's too easy. Everyone does that.
That's too easy. We'll get something for you guys.
I think Wallace Score Wednesday is the only thing we're ever going to come up with that works.
Oh, don't let us peak so young.
MPS Monday.
Get out. I'm going home.
On that note, everybody have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
We'll see you later.
See ya.